Morning, everyone. So as you're looking up, start up, I've just saying this one's going to be sent out to the VIP group. Obviously, applicable to everyone in the trading room, and the gold's going to be sent out to everybody. So everyone's going to get the gold, and the VIP are going to get the gold of this one here. So see if you guys like it. Morning, morning, morning. Okay, right, just start off here. And before we go any further, it's 0.5 and as I said, there's going to be 2 trades. We'll start with that and go into the next step discussion afterwards. Okay, it's a short, as you can see on the chart there. I think some dollar strength will come in, but having said that, I'd like to put the dollar to buy against the weakest currency. At the moment, the weakest currency is the pound. So I see a short on this one. If you look at the weekly, it backs it up to a certain extent. So there, the sell zone, okay. If you go to the 4-hour, it backs it up as well. It seems to be holding that level there as well. And on the 4-hour, it's out the way there for the stop loss. Okay, so bottom line is, anyone like this? Look at quickly, look at the 15-minute. You're hovering there. Anyone like this one? It's going to be sent out. You don't, you don't, you do, you do. Think of the trading room guys. I can discuss, and if you're not happy, well, don't do it. If you are happy with a buy, well, you can look at a buy. But whatever. But that's the idea. And I think some possibly some downside there. And what I like about it a little bit as well is if it comes down there like on Friday, you're not going to be hanging around there for the next 6 weeks. You know what I mean? It's if it can move, then we might get it. You know, at least by today or tomorrow. Maybe probably like tomorrow with the Americans being closed today. But the bottom line is, I think it's not going to take to hell and God to get there. It'll be a bit slower. I mean, don't forget, we forget that the Americans are obviously very big, but then still there's Europeans and Japanese and Chinese and Australians and New Zealanders and whatever, and South Africans. So we're awake. Should be sent out now, the gold, to everybody. I'm just working now on sending this out. So it might be a little bit slower, simply because I say the Americans, don't forget the CFDs, the American US shares will not be open today, they'll be closed. So they weren't doing too badly, but you have to wait till Tuesday to start taking profit, modifying stop loss, or do whatever you want to do with them. Nothing you can do till Tuesday, 4:30. As regards your Baba or whatever else you're in, Microsoft et al. Weren't doing too badly anyway, so hopefully continue. Okay, so there it is. Do you want to get it? If you do, you're getting the price. I think it'll be sent at this price. Might be slightly different. I don't know. Obviously, I did the trade with the room earlier on. But if you like it, there's a chance. What do you think, guys? Need a bit of feedback on that. Shall I move on? Have you got it? Happy? Not happy? So you received it yet? So get it fresh off the press if you like it. Oh, Anna Marie, that's a bit good to have. Meta won't move. GBP JPY should. It maybe it's a bit slow, but Meta won't be moving. No. Eugene's good enough. So we got that now. Going to write that down. Well, I've got it written down anyway because it's been sent out. Okay, so GBP JPY should be. Okay, fantastic, Dirk. But Meta will not. So share. Don't forget, shares will not move till Tuesday 4:30. George Washington out of interest. And Canada is Family Day. Whatever that's supposed to mean anyway. But anyway, what it does practically means a holiday in Canada as well. So the Canadian America are closed today. futures and CFDs and goodness knows what all keep going, just be a bit slow. So don't expect when the NAS opens up as 4, it won't be opening up as 4 basically. So the spot market on the NASDAQ won't be opening up as 4 in America, so it'll just grind along in the normal way. Okay, happy, then we can move on. Right, do you want to hold on a little bit longer? Let's guys do it. Just hold on a few more seconds while you're taking note of that. Don't want to rush this. We don't want fat finger because I'm knocking it off or going too quick. I'll slow down because you've got to put the right figures in. If you want, don't forget the little trick. If you like it, you worked out your volume. It's what, 75 rand a micro. You worked out your volumes, bang your volume in, and press the short sell, and then you're in. Then you put the SL and TP in afterwards. If it's moving, it's not moving that quick, but just futures know that. Okay, fine. It's moving, it's not that quick, but it's really moving. Get the trade as long as you've got your volumes right. Don't rush it, get the thing right, press the buy or sell the trade, and then just go and modify the SL and TP afterwards because you're in the trade. You're not wasting time putting SL and TP in as the thing's moving. If you get a bigger price, so be it. If it's getting a worse price, well, not so good. As I say, when these things move, can be quiet, can be relaxed when it moves. Remember the CPI and the jobs report? You really got to be on it. It's like an adrenaline rush. Can't faff around. Okay, we'll move on. The other one was the gold. Gold's about the same price as it should have been sent out now, 1845. I'm seeing a short there, so it's gone back up, testing the highs there. Look at the daily. Where's the TP on this one? 1800, I think it is. Yeah, 1800. You should all have the figures in your, I believe it's 75 mailbox. I think you're getting it. I think the VIP, I think you're getting on your WhatsApp. You might get the mailbox open, it's on the WhatsApp. But whatever, as long as you're getting it, it's the main thing. Yeah, so 1800, it might not get there, it might even get 1805, 6, whatever, 25, etc. Had a nice bounce on Friday, and I think a little bit of dollar strength seems to be creeping in. It's come off a little bit, but seems to be holding just below before. All things being equal, I think we might have it drift around a little bit there, and then before it moves back down again. Consensus is at the moment, not just me, but out there, that a slight bearish on the gold for the time being. On the long term, bullish, absolutely. But the short term is fairly bearish. So there you are. I've got it down anyway because it's been sent out, but there's a gold one. But yeah, shouldn't have spent too long on it because you should have received your mailbox anyway. If you're on the phone, just check your mailbox on your phone. And those are figures. If you're long gold, good luck. You might be in a profit, and we could be completely wrong. Because we could be completely wrong. That's what makes the market up. Someone's got to go long, otherwise we don't get a trade in. Someone's got to disagree, otherwise we don't get a trade. You're selling something, someone's got to buy it. And why are they buying it? If you're selling, they think you're wrong. So, okay, happy with that one, really. Don't forget to get the position size right. 30 odd rand a micro. Get the position size right. Do the maths on it. Good. Thanks, Anne-Marie. I like that update. Good. If you're long, don't suddenly jump around because we say that. We could be wrong. That's up to you. It's your decision. But let's look at a shorter term chart, 4 hour. It is holding there. If you look at the hourly chart, it's battling to break upwards. That's the only worry. I think 15 is going to tell you much, but you get the idea. But you could well be right. Don't suddenly, if the trade comes out the opposite way you think, don't give up on your strategy. We might be wrong. Hopefully, obviously, you're wrong, I'm right. That's human, but you never know. Yeah, of course. Absolutely, you can. But one thing about gold is, look at, because the contract size is 10, it's only 35 odd rand a micro. So absolutely, what's that? It's about what, $2.70, $2.70, $2.60, $2.70 a micro. On that one, you could probably, in the end, risk maybe going for, maybe 2, maybe 3 micros, 2 micros, 3 micros, no more than that. It's small, but let's be honest, it counts not exactly enormous. But yes, you can. Okay. So just want to go to the economic fundies. What's happened today? Sod all. Okay, it's just the 2 holidays, Canada and America. Nothing. Tomorrow's a couple of things happening. A bit of retail sales out in America again. Canada. Existing home sales is okay. It's not that enormous. GDP and the pound coming out. It's a little bit. So this is all up to 11 tomorrow. Wednesday, just bear in mind, I'll remind you on the group later on, there is going to be some, where's it now? Wednesday, it's going to be meeting of the FOMC, the minutes of the meeting of the FOMC, Federal Open Market Committee, which basically means that that's going to be unfortunately quite late, 9 o'clock. Unfortunately, so it's a bloody hassle. I'd rather have it early and get it out of the way. So it might be a little bit of, we've got to bear that in mind, basically. But that's only on Wednesday, and that's in the evening, 9 o'clock. Just so we'll worry about that later on. Okay, so there we are. Okay, so gold. I'll knock that off in the meantime. Okay, I did look at, but there's not enough follow through. I thought another one possibility of this one's a short. And why I hesitated is because you can see there on the daily, it's in the short area to go down, 4-hour back sit up, weekly, so there, so you can come off as we speak. The problem, let's go back to weekly, is getting a risk reward. If you take, unless you do sort of a 4-hour, it have to be an aggressive trade. If you're aiming down there, we've got 60 pips, you've got to start aiming about 80 pips. So now you have to go to the 4-hour to get your trade in. You think? That's not, that could work. Yeah, I could possibly work on the 4-hour with your stop loss as an aggressive trade. Okay, so you could look at an aggressive trade. We won't send it out because it's too aggressive to send out. The guys in the trade room, in theory, should know a bit more, know the difference in a highly aggressive trade with a fairly tight stop, a fairly tight TP, and look at going with a fairly short-term momentum, understand the differential between the two, and go for it. Good question, Mandy. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. Before I do that, so look at this trade. Anyone to do this aggressive trade? I'll put it up while you're thinking about that. Anyone like to look at this one? No, it's aggressive. No, thanks. Oh, that's no problem, Marie. Well, you have much choice. You've got enough trades, not enough free margin. With the trade essentially, not much choice in the matter. Okay, so we'll leave that then. Just suggesting someone wants an aggressive trade. Remember, it's only 30 odd pips stop, 60 odd pip, 78 or whatever it is. 60 bucks on my person. Pretty good. Okay, should we leave that then? Give a couple more minutes to tell me what you want to do. Aggressive trade, don't forget. Don't tell them, warn you, it will not be sent out. Chart wants to send it out to his guys. It's up to you, Chart. I don't have no problem with that. It's up to you because it came from me. It's not your idea. So the legality is all intact. But I just want to mention it's an aggressive trade. And another problem I want you to be aware of, even though it's only 80 odd pips or 70 pips, wherever it's away, it's 17th of January, so a month ago it was there. It seems to be fairly tight arranged. But I do prefer the CHF to the Canadian, so I prefer to sell the CAD, and therefore I'm buying the Swissy, so that's good enough. And yeah, might be a bit quiet today because Canada will be closed, but yeah, going into tomorrow. But the only thing is a bit of a negative, to be honest. Is
what's going on in the markets today? Subtle. Want daar's nie CFD's vanmiddag nie, want daar's 'n holiday en Woensdag kom daar weer goeders uit.
Ja,
ek het net die GBP USD gevat want hy is bietjie sterker as die.
I don't know if you're talking to me or not, but pick some of that. But tomorrow is
I'm so sorry.
But at least you didn't use 4-letter words and shock us males. You said sod all, not the other one. Otherwise, I'd have been blushing. But joking apart, no problem. What I picked up, yes. So it's, I think it's, when's the UK coming out? I think it's Tuesday. And then, no, it's not. When's the UK come out? Anyway, but bottom line is, that's my only worry. It doesn't seem to be getting going. So we'll leave it all there. Don't move on. No problem, no problem. It's something, I think you're slightly off track there. Okay. Was you having a fat argument or kicking the dog or something like that? I like dogs, don't do that. If you're gonna kick someone, kick your husband. Sorry, Dirk. Okay. Is it necessary to have a USD micro account? Because I have the normal bonus USD account. To answer that question, I want to reiterate again, trade ideas come first, the trading room. If anybody there wants to look at some particular trade, that will come first. But in the meantime, just going to check there. Yeah, in the meantime, no problem. In the meantime, I'll just respond to that question. The whole idea of a NASDAQ micro account, well, it's actually twofold. And number one, really, is to get guys off the demo. They like the NASDAQ and they're scared. And they're scared of Forex. They want to get on, they want to, but they're scared. It's a natural human emotion. And that way they can try and trade with peanuts, but it's at least it's real money. Even if it's a few cents, it's real. It's real. So it's without the fear, one. And number two, a lot of guys do like to trade the NASDAQ, but they don't have the knowledge to realize that their account is too small to trade a micro on the normal NASDAQ account. The vault is too much for it. So they can't trade, or they are trading without that particular knowledge. They haven't come to TR, it hasn't been explained to them, and they're getting margin called, not knowing why, and getting all sort of negative reaction to the company without realizing it's because they're overexposed. So the idea is to give a chance of someone to be able to trade the NASDAQ on basically small accounts. If you've got 5, 10, 15, 20, it's a little bit on the irrelevant side. Why would you? You might as well stick to the normal. It's just basic guys who've got 1 or 2 grand in their accounts, even a few hundred. It gives them a chance to try and get hold of the micro account on the NASDAQ. But bear in mind, like anything else, the smaller you have, the smaller returns. And it can get a bit frustrating when financial reality starts to kick in. I've mentioned this before. One of the major problems I do have in South Africa is the fact that the teaching, I think it's not, I know it's a teacher not knowledgeable, is the level of arithmetic. It's just one of the lowest I've come across in my travels around the world. And we have in the morning, we have on 702, they have these, called the whiz kids, these 10 to 13-year-olds, and they'll know whether, I don't know, Ecuador in South America or in Africa. They'll know that. It's not bad against them. But when it comes to basic arithmetic, the level is very low indeed. That's where you screw up. Like, what's 19 minus 11? They can't do it. Or 25 plus 17. They can do it sometimes. They often get it wrong, wildly wrong, or they take too long and they've got a certain time to answer those 10 questions to get the prize. So the problem is this: you don't need to know pure maths, advanced maths, calculus in everyday life. It's usually doing that kind of engineering profession. But to be employable, you've got to have some knowledge of the internet. You've got to be able to read and write. You've got to have some command of the English language. Whether you like English or not, it's irrelevant. It's the international language. And you've got to have some sort of basic arithmetical numeracy. In other words, you've got to know plus, minus, subtract, divide, and percentage. And that is a very, very, very low level. In fact, to say, guys, the lowest I've ever come across. And that's really what's screwing up, because it is necessary, not just for this, but generally speaking. Now, we're going to go to the micro up here. That's what I mean. If you go to the normal one, I'm just going to go in and look at, and you look at the specification. I'm going on a bit, so they're not missing out on the trade ideas. No, good. It'll say the contract size is 10. Now, if you go to the micro, actually, it's really a nano account. So we've got a nano account on the micro. It's a micro account, it's really a nano account. It's only, see, that is a contract size of 1. So it's 1/10 the size, or 10% of the size. Okay. Now, the problem with that is, well, the plus side means now anybody can trade it. But the downside is, if you go in, there's going to be very, very little return, because it's commensurate with your numbering of the risk. Example, let's say you go in and you short this at 12,300. and it gets down from 12,000 to 312,000 rand. You shorted it. You've made 300 pips. Now, if you remember 300 pips in Forex, that's a hell of a return. 300 pips is a decent return, right, guys? You know what you'll make on the micro, on 0.01 on a micro account? If you get in now and you exit 300 pips in profit, you'll make the princely sum of $3 American, because it's 1 cent a pip move, 1 American cent a pip movement. So you'll make 50 rand. So you just made 300 pips and you want to go and celebrate, you look at the money and think, oh my goodness, that's the, but the thing is, it takes the fear out. So once you overcome that fear, get the basic arithmetic, then if you've got a couple of grand, you might want to go 3 or 4 micros, and it's still below the 1 micro, that's equivalent to 1 mini. So 1 mini on this one, remember 10 micros, 1 mini. 1 mini is 0.1. So 1 mini on there is equivalent to 1 micro on the normal account. So you just up it a bit. You get the idea. This is all overcoming fear, trying to see objectively and understand the basic arithmetic. And one of the things is, again, psychologically, the guy's now got off the demo, he's had a go at it, and suddenly he's going to say, bugger this. I've had a phenomenal trade and I made bloody 50 solid grand. That's no good. So that then they can start getting the idea and upping it a bit. But guys, you got 10 or 15, 20 grand in your account. There's no point using this. Well, you can if you want. It's up to you. You can be seriously disappointed when I don't know, euro dollar went wrong and you lost 300 rand, and this one was an absolute beaut, and you made 60 rand. You're going to get highly fed up. You get the point. Well, I hope you do. In fact, it's vital you do. James is very well explained, but there you are. No, Jacob. No, it means you can trade it because the rest of the downside will fit into your risk exposure in your account. But if you go in with a small amount, you're always going to have to, by definition, take smaller size trades. So if you take smaller size trades, you're going to make obviously less money. It doesn't matter if you've got a higher leverage or not. If you've got a higher leverage, it doesn't mean now I can go for bigger trades because my deposit margin is smaller. Because if you do that, you can, but pleasure if you want. But if it goes wrong, you're overexposed and it's going to hurt you. So again, there's no ways around this, guys. There's no way in the capitalist zone. You can compete with a Ferrari if you've got a 5 grand runabout. The point is that you want the 5 grand runabout because it's better than walking and it gets you from A to B. But you might not get it in comfort and good speed and you might have mechanical problems, but at least you're getting something from it. But you cannot compete with the top of the range Merc. That's why the guy pays $1 million for it, not 5 or 10 grand. It's common sense. You can't live in Clifton on the bloody beachfront if all you can afford is a tent. And think, this is what worries me. People think I put squat in, take squat risk, and get the returns of a high risk, high capitalized account. How can you possibly think that? It's not possible. So you've either got to put more money in or build up. There's nothing wrong with that, building up and getting there. That's why people save. And after a while, they've saved, they've been disciplined, and they have more money. But you're not going to retire as a multimillionaire if you're going to put 10 grand a month away in your RA. At least you started. That's the main thing. I have no problem with that. It's the expectation of something for nothing, which seems to be quite common worldwide. It's not going to happen, obviously. The only point of micro account is it means you can trade the NASDAQ on a small or get you off the demo. Let's say you're off the demo, you're trading live. You can't trade, you've got less than 5 grand, but you want to trade the NAS, so you can't trade the NAS because you haven't got 5 grand, you've only got 3 grand, so you go to the NASDAQ micro. So you don't have to go 0.01, you go 0.06 or 0.07, which is 70% of 1 micro on the normal account. So it means you can do it within a smaller balance. The answer clearly is to get the knowledge and get more money in. That's the thing. And it's no good putting more money in if you don't have the knowledge. I mean, as Ken absolutely spot on said several months ago, guys who put 100 grand in just because they've got more money than make. If they don't have the knowledge, they do any better. It just means they'll lose more because they know what they're doing. Like anything, you know what I mean? I've done a 3-day course on becoming a surgeon. You let me anywhere near you with a scalping knife, you know what I mean? Same principle, but you've got to get that point. To get rid of this idea, I'm going to get something for nothing, because that's how poor people get scammed, because they're buying something for nothing. It does not exist. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm trying to get through this. Is continual expecting some sort of wondrous return because they're focused on some financial problem they got, and some stranger's going to come up and do you the big favor. Believe me, no. You've got to either get the knowledge, get the equipment, and get the capital. All right, you're limiting capital, fair enough, you build up. It's going to take a lot of time. You get my point, because the percentage on 1,000 Rand, if you make 10%, that's only 100 Rand. So it's going to take long. If you've got £1,000,000 Rand, you make 10%, it's 100,000. So exponentially, it's going to speed up. Again, it's frightening. It's not common sense, and that's the part that worries me. It's when you can't grasp these sort of basics, it's going to battle out the poverty gap, and that's it. And do not go the some for nothing snake oil salesman road, because it won't be. And you know, I'm a humanist like everybody else. I mean, if you want to pick on the bank, one of the things, but don't pick on the small guy because he doesn't know and then take advantage. Just to me, that it upsets me, and that happens a lot. It's basically what it is, Jacob. It's just all that is. It's basically giving opportunity. Right, the car is 100 grand. You haven't got 100 grand to buy a motor car, and it's a long way to walk. So you get a bicycle or a moped or something. That's what it is. But don't think, oh, well, I get this bicycle, it's going to start performing like a bloody fast car. No, it ain't. But at least it's quicker than walking. Okay. Hope everyone's got that. Anyone not got that will go back again, because this, without doubt, is the biggest problem, not just us, but worldwide. The less well-off are having. They're easily being sold into something for nothing kind of thing, and it's not happening. Now, I want to buy the Brent yet. I want to buy the Brent. It comes down to around about 80, 81 mark. You want to buy it now? No, I don't want to buy it now. No. Well, technically speaking, it's actually a short if you look at that. But I wouldn't be shorting now because I want a $4 stop, which means you've got a $7 downside, which means you've got to take it down to this level here. I'm not convinced it's going to get there. I think it's rather going to come off a little bit. I'm looking to get in roundabout, maybe getting roundabout there or better. Maybe 81 would be even better price. Even you can get down there. Not sure we can. We get down these sort of levels, I'll be buying it. But to sell it down there, you've got to really, a $4 stop you're looking at. Any closer, not going to do any favors. So if you're looking at 7, that's what, 76. So down this sort of level here. Is he going to get there? Well, it didn't get there last time. Didn't get there the time before. So it was last there in December, and a lot of fundamental running around there. I'm not sure it's going to happen. I would rather stay out of that on my weekly analysis, which should be sent out just now. I don't know, putting it together, making it prettier. I just write stuff. They put banners and jazz it up a bit. So we chit chat, you know what I mean? Jazz it up, basically. I'm looking at a buy, but I'm looking at buy a bit lower down. I wouldn't be chasing the upside. Now, technically, I wouldn't, number one, but forget the technicals, $4.79, then you look at $90. You've got to look around about that level. You've got to look at that through TP, and that ain't going to occur just now. There's no evidence it shall do. There's no trade at the moment, in my opinion. Always got to qualify with my opinion. I respect your opinion, Eugene, Jacob, Anthony, Anne-Marie, Dirk, Etienne, all those guys. I respect their opinion. Charts. Oh, charts traded before, I know that. We chatted about that, the Christmas do. All important opinions, but I'm giving mine, and that's what is an opinion. It's not 100%. Remember, if it was 100%, we wouldn't have a market. Nobody disagrees with me. We don't have a market. Sounds crazy. And you need someone to disagree with you to create a market. As long as you got that concept. Remember, right is a relative term. It doesn't mean anything without the wrong. It's irrelevant without the wrong. Okay, so that's my opinion. Anyone disagree? Anyone like to buy or sell Brent? I'm hoping we can put a calculator up. Zeft it, a couple of
yes,
trades.
mate.
Go for it, Ken. Go for it.
Yeah, because looking at it, I'm also seeing a symmetrical triangle. After that, then we're gonna have to wait to see which way is it going at the moment. Can you see that? Yes. From the bottom there, yeah. So later on, either it's upside or downside. Anything is still possible.
Yeah, but even if forget the triangle, Ken. To be honest, I hear you, but the maths are against you. You can't get a decent risk reward on a buy or a short. unless you tighten up the stop. I've done it before, might do it again, but this stage of the game, I prefer a $4 stop. But I've done it before with a couple of dollars, but it's a bit shaky because I've seen it $2 or $3 up and then come back $2 and then go up again. If my $2 stop was in Andy, I'd have been knocked out. All right, to be fair, in the profit, but not the profit I was looking at. So I've done it before and probably will do it again, but initially I usually work on the $4 stop market. Okay, so we'll move on. I'll get these out of the way because it's always put on, but never cluttered. So you want to look at it with a bit of practice. You want to look at it fairly quickly and be onto it. See, it's a possibility. Now, the thing, Tembi, I have a worry on this one, even though I talk about the GBUSD, is the Aussie is a stronger currency than the pound. And the dollar, I'm thinking it's going to strengthen a bit. It's still a bit iffy, but even if the dollar doesn't strengthen that much, I would still sell the pound like I would sell the rand. When we talk about the rand was 17 as a buy, the dollar could be stronger or better, but the rand is so weak. That's the one you want to be selling. That's why I went to GBP. The US dollar is jumping around a little bit in the mid area. Remember the lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight. It was a heavyweight, went to middleweight, lightweight, on stage back to middleweight. Aussie is still much a middleweight, so they're pretty similar. And the Aussie at the moment is slightly more stable than the US dollar because the dollar is the first one that moved around on expectation, interest rate, not the increase, but how long it's going to be, what is the increase, and the inflationary aspects. And because of Powell's area of putting forward that we need to bring they need to bring that inflation down. Okay, so it's jumping around between the heavyweight and what do you call it? A catch weight. Basically, it's the catch weight area on the US dollar from the follows boxing, where the Aussie is fairly firmly at a slightly stronger middleweight. So on that basis, look where it is technically. It's right on. You're for sure, yes, right on support levels there. So resistance or support level, you get short, yeah. However, it's poked his head above 50. It's above. Let's stop this. Sorry,
just told me just then. No, I'm pulling pages.
Okay, you can always unmute, guys. Ken. Right, where was I? Yeah. So it's trying to go above that. It's not below that in the neutral. It's not down here in the sell zone. I'd be more happy to sell it down here. So it's really trying to break up the high zone. But when I start, not with the stuff coming out, FOMC on coming out on Wednesday. The market's closed today, so I'm not sure I'll be buying it, number one. Number two, it's got quite a lot of resistance. It could come off from here. Will it be enough to come off? That's only 30 pips away. I think it's going to go sideways. You can get stuck in it. There's more ticks for me to leave this alone than to buy or sell it. That's my take on it. That's my take, Tembi. I like your opinions, guys. The whole idea is a forum. I want your opinions. It's important to me. Most of the trade, not most, well, probably is most of the trades come out to me. Discussion of people who've got more knowledge and with get ideas and get backing on it. You're going to load share anyway, so good. All right. Anybody want a short or buy this one, or should we move on? Anybody else? No thanks. Remember, it's the forum. We've got to join in. No thanks. You guys got to start getting a little bit of nerve as well. Say, right, what's your opinion? It's not just the more experienced guys like Etienne and Farley and Anna Marie and Eugene. It's Dirk. It's the other guys who are, Brentons and the Schumers and the other guys. You're not being left out. We want your opinion. Leave it alone. That's fine. Well, it's a pretty much that's that. Not really. If you haven't got a margin, my choice no matter. I'm talking about if you've got the choice to go in now, I want you to have enough knowledge, or if you're not sure, so I explain, so you start learning how to fish yourself, get to understand what's behind it, so that you can say, no, for me, the reason why I'm going to not go for it, it's not because Roger said so, or Farney said so, it's because I see what the vision is and I agree, or I disagree, even better. And they say, oh, let's have a look at this. Okay, leave it alone. Thank you. Good stuff. Thank you. All right, then we can move on. What was the other one? NZD somewhere. Just give me a second. Brent Long, where is it now? Okay, Gerard wants GBP and ZD. Before I look at it, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? If you hadn't put sell in and put sell in, the first thing come out sell. I'm very loath to buy the pound, so automatically I'm thinking of selling it. I hope so, because we've got a trade out on that, Ken. It's giving us a serious jip. That's something really quick. Just doing a moment. It's slightly in profit, but it's been all over the bloody place. I thought it was going to break through on Friday, and it did. And it came back and started giving us jip again. It's really, I think a lot of guys got out of that, just took their profit and ran. I know Pete did, for example, saw this for a game which Stolen used to say, took the profit around, singles up and down, which is like a roller coaster. Anyway, going back to GBP NZD, look at after that if I remember. Okay, I clearly want to sell that. Well, why nice that? I looked through them all this morning. I missed that. So I need you guys. How do I miss this one? How did I miss it? Yeah. Do you see what I'm seeing, guys? Gerard's idea. All right, to be fair, Gerard's done it before. Not the first time. Okay. But still, do you see what he's seeing there? Yeah, but they do. Yeah, but half a dozen of the Fed deputy chairmen and like all of them, we got half a dozen guys. Get some of the names now, but come out with stuff which doesn't help matters actually. Periodically. Well, right. I'll tell you what, Eugene, not Eugene. Sorry, Gerard. I'm going to unmute. Show the guys what you're seeing because I totally see it myself. I like this. Well done, Gerard. I've unmuted. Gerard, you've got the floor. You've got the confidence. You've got the knowledge. Tell the guys. Do you want to, or shall I go on? Okay. Right. It's at the top there. It's in the neutral. It's not above or below the major moving average. The major ones, the 200 and the 50, to a lesser extent, but still important, is the 100. We talked about that sprint. The guys didn't like it. I saw that as a short, an aggressive short. The guys didn't like it. So what's it done? It's gone right up to the top and it's holding. It's holding. It's holding. It's holding. We put the stop we can above these guys, holding. So let's say we look for a stop above. Can we do that? It's a hell of a long way. So that's a bit of a pity. We could, but what's the distance down here? No, we can't, unfortunately. So we've got to put the stop a little bit tighter, but still since a month ago. But I see a stop above here, around about these levels here, maybe slightly wider, maybe there, 80 pips stop, take it down to here, a range trade. It could happen. The beauty is not 6 months to get there. It could come back in a couple of days. I think the pound is weaker than New Zealand. That's in the weak zone. New Zealand dollar is very much in the middle zone. I wouldn't put the strong zone, but certainly put in the middle. So I would want to be buying and selling that anyway. And it's backed up by that, plus the range trade aspect, and we get a risk reward. I like it. Does that make sense, Eugene, what I'm seeing? Could you all see what I'm seeing there? And did you see the speed at which it saw?
Yes, mate, I want to take this.
Yeah.
Because I'm also looking at the previous high. Yeah, it makes sense what you are saying.
Now, I want to point something out as well. The speed I did it, all right, there's a bit of practice. It's nothing to do with intelligence. I don't think I was clever or whatever. Nothing to do with it. It's practice, uncluttered charts, and then you'll be able to see it. As soon as I saw it, flicked over. What was my immediate reaction? Bloody hell, Gerard. Thank you. How did I miss it? Now, instead of being happy with her, I'm happy with myself. I don't know how I missed that. I think it's a nice one. But before we get too cute, let's have a look at the 4 hour. What's the 4 hour saying? Sellers are coming as it tries to go up. And you helping on the weekly. Yeah, on the weekly, it's a little bit of a negative on the weekly. It's clearly there. It's got a breakthrough. It hasn't as yet. It's a little bit of a negative. Let's try the 1 hour. It's trying to come off as we speak. But there's more tick to say yes than no. You're not going to get 100% trade. So there's more tick to say yes than no. So we'll put the TP in down here to make it 1.9120. Just to cover the spread. You don't want people not in there because of the spread, 9120 spread. So, right, what I mean by that, if it comes down there, if you're selling, and it comes down to there on the bid, and the arse hasn't got there, because the 2 or 3 pip spread, well, quite a big spread on this one for some reason. Excuse me, should have said that, but here it is, you should know that anyway. You're still in, it bounces under wire. The arrow will be there, but that was the bid or the sell. You're getting out on the buy. So pushed it up a few pips to make it 20. That's the wrong one. Yeah, that's right, 120. Just so you're not caught on the spread. That's what I mean by that. You've got a 1.95, which is adequate, and you've got just under 100 rand a micro, which is just about affordable for most. 500 is a bit too much. That's 20% risk. It's too much. But a guy on 100 or 1,000 rand just about squeeze it, assuming they've got enough margin. If they're in another trade, well, put more money in or leave it. That's the only problem. Okay. Again, the problem always going to be in any form of capital. There's always going to be limitations. Nothing wrong with that because you haven't got the capital, but don't expect it any other way. Okay, so there we are. Do we like it? I have to say I do. There's a stance in the TP. See it now, Vandili? I'm going to push it through. I like this, I have to say. I'm going to just save the picture. Cancel that one. And put it out. The only change you're going to make to it is I'm not saying it, I think it's my idea. I'm not going to say it's Gerard's. Until it goes wrong, I say I've led astray. Why did that go wrong? So another you'll learn in life, portion brain, when it doesn't go wrong, when it doesn't go right. It's called my evil laugh. I'm me kidding, guys. Now, why is that? Can that good stuff. Right, anyway, see what we've got to say on this.
Hello, Mr. Rogers.
Camel said stripes. Put the typo error, they don't concentrate. Put in the wrong stuff. Done that before. That's where the typos come. Can't do two things at once.
Can you hear me, sir?
Just a second. Just
Okay.
Just give me a second to put that out, and I want to put the Dewberry out as well. Where am I? Just where the hell am I now? Yeah. So that's where typos come in. Good, sorted. Where was I? Just going back to see any comments there. I'll leave that for a moment. Let these guys in. Yeah, I was only kidding it hard. Get back to my other one, which was there. Okay, just going to look at the dollar strength. Yes, start to recover stuff. Knock that off. Right, where were we? Okay, sorry, I don't know who that was. I finished. I've got my full attention. What are you saying there, sir?
When I placed the trade on gold and the GBP USD, I noticed that it's only the SL and then the sell, but there's no TP.
Oh, right, on the signal it's sent. Just remember, check. Give me a moment. Thanks for that. Yes, it is. They do it back to front. They do it back to front. They put the TP first and sell second. They put it back to front. So read the signal again. It's the entry, TP, then the SL, not the other way around.
Okay.
You got it, yeah. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. And it's difficult to change a person's habits and tried and we've forgotten about and not bother arguing about it. I always look at the SL first, the TP like on but on the signal, always put the TP first. Some reason. Anyway, that's
okay. So Okay, so usually sometimes the TP doesn't show on some
No, it should show. If it hasn't shown, I don't know why it hasn't shown. I want some feedback on that. If I've checked the trading support, has it come? I'm just going to check my mailbox. It should come in there. Come in there.
Roger, between
Yes,
these
it has.
indicators,
It has. Sorry, one thing at a time. Sorry, one thing at a time. It has buy, TP, stop loss. That's how it's sent out. The TP for some reason is first. So you put the SL in, the TP in the normal way, you just back to bloody front, but it's there it is. And the risk. That's wrong. You're a JPY, so it's a wrong. I don't know, that come to mind. But are you saying, guys, that the SL wasn't on the MT5 signal? Is that what you're saying? Oh yes, Dirk said it has. So maybe you just didn't spot it. So look at it again. I don't know about the phone. I have no idea about the phone because we do the laptop. But yeah, it's all there. Are we on the same page? Because some guys don't have a laptop. They don't change the phone. The quicker you can get a laptop, the better. Because a phone, to try and trade successfully, with very little money, little knowledge, and not even the right equipment as a phone, the odds you make is so infinitesimal. Right. So you need to get the right equipment. But it's definitely there as far as on the MT5 mailbox, all of it. Just remember, read the full signal. Even the SL is the wrong way around the TP. Doesn't matter. There it is. On the phone, I'm assuming it's there. I only use a phone quicker to change if I'm out shopping or out or whatever. It's a quick, quick reference to. I never ever trade off it. It's too limited. Okay, are you good? Are you cool there, Oblondini?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You're good. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Now, something I can think of this. Something Marius has put there, because of course every works of lectures. Back up. Hello. Hello.
Roj, I'm just struggling to identify the indicators. What are you using? Is it Bollinger Bands and moving averages?
Okay. If you like Bollinger Bands, put them on. If you like stochastics, MACDs, random strength, put them on. I can use them sometimes, not often. But listen. What I do, and I've saved and defaulted, are moving averages. And I use them not when they cross.
No, what I'm saying is, I don't know. I can't identify the moving average and the Bollinger Bands because I see 4 lines on your indicators.
Yeah, the Bollinger Band's completely different. I don't have it. I can put them on, but I don't have it. I have one here, the 100-day moving average, the black line. The brown line is 200-day, all simple. I have the 50-day moving average, all simple, and I have the 10-day moving average, all simple. With the colors I'm used to.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
That is important. Then I save the template. Okay. And then I go and save it. Okay. So if I lose the chart, I just go down there, I go to template, and I pick the one out. I've got different ones there. You put as many as you like in. Put about 7 there. Quite like this. If I put a Bollinger Band, which is very rare, once I've used it, I take it off. If I put a Reddit strengthen, I use it and take it off. I want to do where Gerard's with me now, or Eugene with me, and other guys are with me, where I want to go and look at a trade potential. Let's do this one. Look at it, and immediately tell it's in the sell zone, but the ship has sailed. So I don't want to go through. If this was up here in the sell zone and coming off, I can immediately tell, aha, that's a trade. Then I can go more depth. Immediately, like a headline in the paper, bang in front of me. I think it's a possibility. Then I go into a bit more depth. I don't be hunting around, looking through all sorts of stuff in the chart to find if it's any good or not. 10 minutes later, still can't find, this is no good to me. That's been a waste of bloody time because I've now missed out the GBP CAD because I spent too long on this one, which is not giving me a possibility. So like I said, I've just flicked over there and I can see immediately, I want to sell it, but it's the bottom of the range, sell it up here or maybe a breakthrough, leave alone for now. Move on. That's the practice to get at. But if you want to put a Bollinger Band, you can do it. Indicators, trend, you should remember the trend as I'm wrong, but yeah, it is. If it's not, you can't find it there, go to the oscillator, don't forget. It's supposed to be oscillators lead, none of them do. They're always loud. What does that tell you? Is it going to bounce off there? Who knows? All I do know, it's a range trade, there's a bit of support there, and it could have a bounce. My worry about the bounce, it's in the sell zone, you're going against the trend, and you're buying the pound, which is weak, and selling the Aussie dollar. So I wouldn't buy the pound, I would sell the rally. And that's what I can see within a second. It's just practice. I don't need that Bollinger Band to tell me what I can see by looking at the movement of the candles and my filters, when I'm using moving average filters. Are you with me on that? This is just getting in the way to me, so I'm going to get rid of it. Yeah. See what I mean? Let's have a look at that. Let's give another one. Let's have a quick look at the oscillator. This one, an RSI. You can put different numbers. I'll use the defaulted one. All right, it's halfway through. That doesn't mean anything to me. It's halfway through between there and there, or halfway to what? Even this thing was up here. Don't you say I'm start selling it if the momentum's still up. The pound's got some fundies making it even weaker. I probably will buy it to go further up to the buy zone. So anywhere resistance is and get a risk reward. That's just telling me what I can see on the chart anyway. It's just following what's happening in the chart. I know you get negative divergence, but basically that comes occasionally. I get that, but most of the time it's telling me what I can see on the chart, and that's just taking up space in the chart. I don't need to know that. I can see it start. Look at that, it's coming off. Obviously it's coming off because it's following that red effort there, the red candle there. I don't need that. You see my point? I can look here and I can say, that's coming off. It's in the sell zone. I know the pound's weaker than that. Now we're going to sell it. Do I want to sell it here? No, I haven't broken through, I haven't broken through. Where do I want to sell it? I want to sell it up here. If it goes back up there and then confirms, it might break up, something might have changed. Comes off confirmation. There's no difference in the fundamental data coming through, strengthening one against the other. So I put my stop up here and the TP down there and box your uncle. That's information enough, and it's been good to me. Why fix something that's not broken? Why complicate something that's uncomplicated? You know what I mean? Are we on the same page there? Because I'm telling you right now, the buy and sellers determine where the price is going to be. The Bollinger Band doesn't. That's just telling you what's happened in the past. Well, I happen to know it rained on Thursday last week. I happen to know that. Don't need to tell me that. You know what I mean? I want to know, I'm having a braai this afternoon. Is it going to be sunny? That's more what I'm interested in. Also, I forgot to tell you about that. Okay, I'm having a braai this afternoon, so there's no more trading. I don't need joking, but I'm only kidding. But no, you know what I mean? I want to stick what probability is going forward. I know what's happened in the past. Well, I use what works for me, obviously, but I'm trying to say, why complicate and add extra stuff that's not really adding much more value? If you find it's adding value to you, in fact, tested it and you're happy with it, for goodness sake, stay with it. Yeah. You happy with that, Ken? You're braining today, not Brian. Okay. Yeah. Look, go and get a nap. Go and get a nap, and there you are. Then go get a nap and download an app, and then you can see what's happening with the weather. But yeah, okay. So where were we? I don't know if you live in the same spot as me anyway. It might rain where you are, and sunshine where I am. Anyway, okay. This Euro JPY, is anything happening to that damn thing? Is anyone still left to this? Because I think a lot of people are fed up with it. Because you're in a profit now if you're still in. You might start thinking, do you want to hang on or come back yet again? Is anyone still in this thing? You think some guys have sod it, I'm out. You're still in, Anne-Marie. Okay. I'm not saying get out of it, it might shoot up, but start thinking about something because, I mean, it's in profit, going to 32. Maybe just put some, it's 20 pips of it. It might come off again. Maybe just put it into entry, and if you get knocked out, it don't mean anything, but it come all the way back to 143 or something again, like as the last couple of days, you know. I know you're out of it, Pete.
Can we still enter this one, mate? I went out by mistake. I don't know what I did.
Well, no, you can't. But we can, but I suggest you don't. I wouldn't enter this at all. It's just been getting up and down. Look at the hourly. Every time it tries to get going, look at this. This is an hourly on. Off it comes. Gets going, off it comes. Get going, starts to come off again. That's why Pete said, sod this, I'm out of here. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. That's Pete Mayer there. So I don't bloody blame you. If you're in there and you're going at 140.32, like the signal said, 20 pips away, maybe bung it in there, comes off again. At least you won't lose. You won't make it, at least you won't lose. And get rid of it. but I certainly wouldn't be chasing it now. Just hoping if you're in, hold on, hope it breaks through. If it doesn't, you don't want to come all the way back again to 143 and annoying. Are we all clear on that? I'm not saying get out of it, but just modify it. You don't come all the way back again. It just seems to be battling to get any bloody movement up. That's an hourly chance. See what I mean? Up it goes, up it goes. Just to me, it's more irritating than anything else, but might get going this time. Don't see many signs of it. It's not trying to come off again. Look at the 15. Well, trying to look at the 5. That's what we mean. Look at the 1 minute. Well, it's trying to give you juice, trying to pull up. So hang on in there. Just protect yourself. That's all I'm saying. But don't join it now. I'm joining it now. Okay, now let's go through a couple of shares just for the fun. It was a bit quiet for the moment. Baba, you should be in a profit if you took that one. What price you get in? It was a couple of days ago. Find the bloody thing. Baba, we got in 102.80. So we're is that $3? Yeah, $3 share in profit. That's okay. 264.15 on Microsoft. It's 257.26. So what's that? That's just under $7 per share profit. So that's quite nice. That's very nice. Quite nice. Bloody nice. Nasdaq's doing well. If you should still be in the Nasdaq, you've got it at 7, still doing fine. Hold on to that one. And GBPHQ, whatever it's called, keep calling HQ, Hewlett Packard. What the name of it now? Hewlett, it's B under H, of course, Hewlett Packard. Keep calling it. You know, I get it's GHQ. Okay, so we got in on that one about 30-ish. Not bad, but we've got exactly 30.30. That was the price of Signal. It's a few cents in profit. So that's in profit, etc. HPQ, yeah. So a few cents in profit. You have a lovely profit Microsoft and not a bad one in Bubba. So at least they're going okay. US dollar, Swiss franc, to look at it, go and sell it. That's the one area I might sell the dollar against the Swiss franc. That's the only one I might. And it's starting to look hopeful. Yeah, you might get my only trouble with that is you can see them coming with here. Pete, sorry, who said that? I see the problem having Mars. Look at this movement. Not much follow through. Even here, buyers came in. It's not much movement. So if you're going to put a stop up here somewhere, 80 pips. Even here, you're under trouble. You're under trouble. There, you got to aim down here. You could definitely do it down there, but it was there on the 28th of January, somewhere around about there. So it's there about 3 weeks ago. It's not really getting going. Looking at the candles, more than the Bollinger Band and the others, is telling me what the buyers and sellers are doing. And that's what you got to be interested in. And the buyers and sellers are telling me the buyers and sellers, it's probably equilibrium. It's not getting going upside or downside. That's the thing that put me off going for this. I looked a couple of times last week and this week. It's just a lack of follow through. You don't want to set your TP in Durban and you're hardly getting past Heidelberg, starts going back to Pretoria. Or you're going the other way, you're setting your TP in Limpopo, hardly gets past Pretoria and it comes back to Joburg. You get the point. It's just not really getting going. That's the reason why I leave it. What's an OHLC? Open, high, close. Okay, you look at the previous, like the pivot point side, which you're talking about there. There we are. It's just such an indicator. I've never seen it. So look at mine. Can't say I've ever heard of that one, to be honest, but it seemed to be one anyway. But the view to the left on the candle view. You mean the high up there and the low down here, or something like that you're talking about? I'll give you that's about 200 pips, yeah, but not sure that's telling me much. That's the line chart, yeah. Because if you want to do it, and you want to use that as your stop and take that down as your TP, no one works. You have to take it down there as your TP or down here as your TP. Aggressive trading the line chart, yeah. Toolbar, I'm completely not with you. What toolbar? To the left of the, go back to camera. Where's the toolbar? Toolbar. That's the toolbars there. Standard line study time frame. I'm completely not with you at all. So I'm being a bit thick here, obviously. Left of line, left of candles. What's left of candles? Oh, you mean this one, the bar chart?
Yes.
Oh, it's about the bar chart. Oh, that's completely. I see what you mean now. It's called a bar chart. Yeah.
If you have a look at the bar chart there, I have mine on red and green. There's quite significant. You see where it goes in terms of where it's currently. There's quite opportunity there for further downward movement, and that's why I was thinking of taking it on a short.
Yeah, that's just the highs and lows of the candle. You can spot that in the candle anyway, because it'll tell you on the candle anyway. As you know, that opened there, closed there, it's still going strong. But if you had closed, that would have closed, other way around the green. So I know the highs and the lows, and the open, the close, the highs and the lows, and the open and the close. I can see that from the candle anyway. Don't need that. That's why it's very rarely used, actually. It gives you the exact price, but I can do it on the candle anyway. I don't need that. But I still don't see that. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm missing something. I still don't see that. I see very little. See, it comes off. There's the highs and the lows. Okay. And there's not much follow through. Highs and lows, not much follow through. It's down there. You're looking at suddenly move down there and move up here. If you go back to the candle, it's not getting much follow through down those levels. You might get a break sudden, but is that enough to base real money on? I personally, what I see there, I would, if I was going to sell the dollar, it would be the Swiss franc. I agree. But having said that, it's not enough breakthrough there or follow through there to give me enough confidence. A lot of guys are worried coming up on Wednesday, there's going to still be some dollar strength coming in. They're not convinced we're going to get a finished interest rates increases in March. They still think it's going to be more in May. There's still many problems on the fundamental basis out there, and inflation is still not really properly under control. The CPI we had the other day came as expected. No information telling us yet that the CPI is actually coming down much. So more people are a little bit worried about that. So there could be some dollar strength. So if I was going to be selling the dollar, the only one I'd sell at this stage of the game would be the Swiss franc. And there's not enough meat on the bones for me to do it. So for that point of view, I'd leave it. But if anyone else disagrees, wants to do it, you'd have to have your stop up here. It's too wide. So you're going to have it about here, which you could probably manage about 60 pips and take it down to here. Yeah, you could squeeze it in down there as a risk reward. Anyone want to do this, sell it. Come on, go. Head on with Marius on this, sell it. Anyone want to sell this one? Give my view, but if you want to sell, put it down with pleasure. Well, it's up to you then, Marius. Doesn't seem a lot of feedback on the plus side on that. Okay. And these guys have traded before, you know what I mean? And yes, the risk reward is just, yeah, exactly. It's not enough. And you've got to take it down here, which it may or may not got to, may or may not get to. And that was on the 3rd of February. That's about nearly 3 weeks ago. And the US dollar's indecisive. There's so many ticks to leave it alone rather than go for it, yeah. Actually, that's not quite true. It's down here, actually. That was on the 14th. Okay, I beg your pardon, about a week ago. dollar CAD. They're both holiday today. Remember the dollar CAD, they're both on holiday, so expect to be fairly quiet. They seem to move not quite in tandem. I'm pushing my luck there a bit. They seem to be fairly similar. A little about the AUD, NZD, similar. And yeah, having said that, it seemed to come back and support this keeping on the 50, which remember we only had the 100-day moving average recently. So literally it's come back and tested the support zone there. But technically speaking, that looked the possibility of a buy. All right. The only thing that's put me off a bit, we didn't really get going on Friday. It's not got going much again today. Not a lot of confirmation it's going to get going today, but I still think there's a possibility on that one. But I'd rather look at it tomorrow when the Americans are back at their back on, you know, not knocked off. Because remember, when they get a day off, even the guys will be asleep now, etc. And there'll be some futures CFD traders, non-spot traders as well, will be probably at their desk doing something, or I don't know what they'll be doing. But no, I just don't. I think it might. I'd rather have a look at it. I just don't think you're going to get enough action today to make it worth your while. And even though it's come back to support, it's battling to get going in the direction. So technically, yes, but it's a bit iffy. But it's not a bad idea, but not good enough to mitigate further. And what worries me, if you get some produce in the US, that might float down or filter down to Canadian, and and then they might just sort of cancel each other out. I think probably best overall rather leave this. You're a CHF. I'm looking for short now. Can we get one? You give me a lot of iffy, been a lot of chip this damn thing. But I'm looking at the possibility of a short on this one. What do you want to do with it? You want to buy it now? I'm sure I'll be buying it. I'm nervous of selling the Swiss franc, bottom line. I'm buying it's come down, a bit of a tight range. Let's have a look at the range. There, it's about 20 odd pips to there. It's about 40 pips. So you've got to put a tight stop in, you put the stop there. 30, no, won't get a risk reward. Put the stop there, you will. You might get a bit of a bounce. It seems to be hovering around that range. I personally think rather leave it alone. If we're going to break down here, stop up here, set it down there, I'd be far more agreeable, much more higher probability. I agree with that, Jacob. I'm looking for short of this, by the way, but I'm more agreeable to do it if it breaks through here. Confirmed break, not put it. That's not a break. It's got to be confirmed. The entire candle is below this. I'll put the stop up here, TB down there somewhere. Have a look at it. For the moment, look at that narrow range. It's not worth trading that range. Stop loss will be too tight. The noise will knock you out. It's just not worth the hassle. It's like going to business to sell, I don't know, a dozen eggs. Is the time, effort worth the profit you're going to make on selling a dozen eggs worth it? Not enough meat in the moment. That's my opinion, anyway. But whatever, I won't buy that. If you buy it here, take you there. If you take it there, see, we've got a problem here already. Got a problem. What do you think? You got a problem there. If it gets up there, look chance of rush this stage. 13 pips. What are you? 6 pips? Stop, doesn't cover your spread. Well, it does just about. Take it up there. 40 pips. It's not good enough. So you've got to start looking at getting up there. Hasn't been happening lately. It's nothing to push it out of the range. That's an hourly range, not a daily range, if you get my point. Not worth it. The mental bloody jip you're going to get from trying to hang around in that sense, that's not worth it. I'd be more agreeable. There's no such thing as a spread. If the spread was non-existent, so I'd probably say try and get 20, 30 pips out of it. Go for it. Bounce at 20 pips, get out of it. 1.0128. Right about this level here. And then you put the stop loss 97.98. Down there somewhere. Yeah. If you believe the euro is that strong, the Swiss franc that weak, go for it. I don't believe it. The Swiss franc is that weak. So I'm afraid that I won't be joining on that one. Do you ever watch Dragon's Den? You know, they get these 5 entrepreneurs in, rich entrepreneurs, venture capitalists. They call them investing angels or whatever. The guy stands up, pitches it, and invest in for a percentage of the company. I need 100,000 for 10%, or they argue, give you the 100 grand, we want 25%. You know, see, quite good, Dragon's Den, UK thing. But often they say, for me, I'm out. For that reason, I'm out. For that one, I'm out. Well, Peter, that's the good news. The bad news, you can't. If you're in anybody share trades, you've got to wait till tomorrow to close. You've got no choice about it. You're stuck with them. Ha! So good. But an interesting comment. I want to be on more serious note. It says, I feel like closing all. You see, this is the problem. He's so nervous now. He's got this blue going on. He likes it. And he's nervous now, so he wants to jump out. As soon as we make some money, we want to get out of it. The terrified has been taken away. But let's say they're all red. I get out of those red. Get out as soon as possible. Oh, no. I want to wait for it to come back. So you hold on to the reds, wait till it to turn blue, and then you get out of the blue. If you're too scared, it's going to turn red. So you're taking small profits and holding on to big losses. That's the normal emotional aspect of a trader. No, enjoy the blue. Why can't you get from blue to dark blue? But I get your point and say, well, I tried it last time and blue good became obvious. Well, obviously you can modify stops and protect. But just because you're getting scared, you're not blue, I'm scared now. That's an emotional reaction. Who knows? If you bought here and it's looking nice, I'm scared. I'm going to take that. No, modify your stop. Look what happened. If you'd held on, you're going up there. Modify your stop. And then what's happening? We've gone up there. And then you've been stopped out there. And you'd made that extra profit, which is over 100 pips. Not fear of missing out. It's entering a trade. It's fear of losing out. It's a FOLO. Not FOMO, but FOLO. Just made that up off the top of my head like that. It's a FOLO. I like it. I'm sticking with it. That's the common thing. It's FOLO, fear of losing out. There you are, Morris. You see what he said there? He's still in. He's been there 3 days. What a pleasure. I like the marriage situation. Always like that, you know. You've been married 10 years and it's fantastic. The man's happy, the woman's happy, everything's 100%. Well, hang on, it's been too good. It's got to go wrong sometimes. Then the spouse goes up, not the man or the woman goes up, from a man, so 10 years a woman. So you go up to Mary, and Mary, I know we've still had for 10 years, but we all know it can't go on. So I'm thinking, should we get divorced? Mary, I promise you, will look at me and say, listen, can I book you to see a psychologist like now? You know, hey, Anne-Marie, you're there. Right, you've had 50 years of marriage. Let's say you had 10 years of marriage. It's going well. No, come on, do it. Let's get divorced. It's going that well. It's got to go wrong. Let's go and get divorced. I promise you, look at you as if you lost your marbles. Why do it with trading? It's going well. It's going to get better, guys. Hopefully. But you know what I mean. It's psychology. We're fright the death of the red. So it's the fear of losing out. FOLO. No harm in putting your stop loss up. And it's going to happen. You're going to make 1,000 rand instead of 1,500 or more because you got stopped out. But that, you don't want to get back from 1,000 back to 100 or 0. You know what I mean? I get that. But just jumping off the bloody gravy train for the sake of it, no. 50 years in May, there you are. And it's still going strong. Hey, they're trading again, everything. So stick with the winning trade. Look at the profit she's made by not getting divorced after 10 years of marriage. You know what I'm saying? I'm making it slightly ridiculous, but if you're getting you laughing, it'll stick. You know what I mean? That's why comedy is good for instruction. It makes you laugh at it, and it sticks in your head. And plus, you're familiar with that. And I think, bloody hell, yeah. It's bloody stupid to do that, yeah. But no, it's now. Let's make the other way around. That's where we go. She's still together with Dirt now, and it's been a disaster. And she wanted to get divorced, or he wanted to get us to 10 years, but the red psychological losing can't take it. So they stick together. Now they don't speak to each other. They can't be in the same room together and argue. They're miserable, desperate, unhappy. They didn't want to get out of their losing trade after 10 years, and they're still holding on to their losing trade with no stop loss 50 years later. That's what we do. But no, what we do is a winning bloody marriage we get out of 10 years. You get my point. I'm making it slightly ridiculous. Hope you got some sense of humour to see it, but that's what we do, and we put it in that way. You realise how daft it is, yeah. And that's quite common. Oh, we hang on for the kid, we hang on to that because it's scared to make a decision. Hope it's going to come right, and then it's too late. And then dying to marry somebody wonderful like me, and they waited on, and now at last, all those years later, decide to get divorced. Sorry, mate. I just heard it last. I said yes, and I've married her, so you missed the boat. Ah. But I've really added on to the banality of it, but just to get the idea. So rather, you know, as Mario said, 3 days later, he's still in it. He's still in a profit. I hope he is. Well, I know he is, but anyway, he's in a profit. He's doing okay, and yeah. So you can get some more. You're always going to get the noise, which plays havoc with your head. You're always going to get the noise, ups and downs. I think so. You haven't stopped out. Been a bit disappointing. I hope you forgot about that. That's why I mentioned it. Someone, Eugene, just reminded me. Damn, Eugene, stop being on the ball. I hope you forgot about that. Yeah, but we're still in. The stop's up here, so you're still in. It's disappointing. So keep your fingers crossed. If this doesn't work out this time, I think we'll put into room 101. Okay, you know room 101, George Orwell from 1984. NGAS will join NGAS in room 101. Well, if you want, but why would you? So why would you? I mean, first of all, the Hong Kong dollar is an exotic. Is it on here? I don't think it's on there, so I have to add it. So long is it? USD based currency. I've never traded, by the way, but obviously look at the thing. I can read technical analysis, but I never trade this year interest. Where is it now? Hong Kong H. Is it still there? Hong Kong dollar. Oh, it's USD. You clot. It's not there anymore. Anyway, they've taken it off. So you can't trade. There's your answer. They've taken it off. Okay, Marie. So it's just, yeah. The reason is just not enough people trading it. So you can get the specifications on the meantime anyway. The spread is 8 pips. It's not horrendous. It's not like 20 pips. It's 8 pips. That's why it's not too bad. Contract signed like all of them is 100,000, 8 pips. But it still counts as an exotic. So you can do some fun things. But at least the spread is not tight, but it's not as bad as the rand. Mind you, the Hong Kong dollar is a much stronger currency, much more respected currency in the rand anyway. That's why it's a slightly tighter spread, but it's not across, which is like the Canada, New Zealand, or the Aussie. It's certainly not a major. So anyway, you can't anyway, so it's neither here nor there. Rather master your ability on the dollar CAD rather than dollar Hong Kong or the dollar Sweden. Why bother? In fact, actually, funny enough, I prefer the dollar rand, especially about 17. It's pretty easy to read. That's a great trade. And that was a bit of a no-brainer. That was as close to no-brainer as you're going to get. Okay, we're all good. Okay, let's just have a quick check of our trades now. ASS, yes, right. We stopped that one as well. Not enough people doing it, and not enough people understanding it. And for the few people trade it, and quite frankly, every time people phone up, take the time on, we don't mind that as long as the guy can be rationalized in a couple of minutes. But a lot of them just not getting it, basically. It takes a long time, and that's time held up when we're dealing with something else. So they thought we'll just take it off. Remember that guy, I hope he's not on here at the moment before I get too carried away, came on, even though he's not here at the moment, came on and asked if he got the course, and didn't know he got the course or not. And then I think finally was there and then trying to find out, yes, he had got the course. And then we said, well, go and do some, if you don't understand, go and do some forage classes. What's that mean? You know what I mean? It takes too much time. If you can't understand in 2 seconds, that if you don't know this and you bought the course, go and make use of that course. It's, you know, what you can do. Yeah, so that's grayed out. It's causing more bloody hassle than it's worth left. I'm just going to check to see if they like that NZD one. Looks like not. Jumps too quick on the screens using my phone. Just give me a second. No reply on that, so maybe they don't like it, or maybe I think they're in a meeting or something. That's why it's better come to training room. If they've got to send it out after I post it, and if they're in a meeting, they're going to miss it. Here you go for the press. Okay, anyway, that means it may gold. Right, showing a bit of a profit so far. Right, mustn't moans, not shooting the lights out, but at least a bit of a profit. GBP USD. What price do we get on? This is the right one. GBP USD. We got in at 38. So that's about 10 pips up. So we're doing okay on that one. The other one, which I didn't write down, so just write that down. A couple of people liked it, I think. Let's see, GBP. I've got it here, right? Just so I can write that down. Just give me a moment. Sorry, guys. GBP NZD sell 1.9289, 1.9366, 1.9120. Okay, GBP NZD. We got it at 192.89, slightly in the negative, but it looks like at the moment anyway, 9 get hold of it. GBP NZD. Yeah, we got that out. It's doing okay. Just looked at it now. It's doing okay. Got in at 38. What am I looking at here? GBNZD, look wrong one. GBNZD is not doing so lekker, but it's not terrible. It's about 10, 11 pips in the wrong side, but that's a bit annoying. Any sellers coming in? Yeah, some sellers trying to come in, so maybe we'll see. Give it a bit of time, see how that works out. Okay. But the gold and GBP ones have been sent out and doing okay. Just want to, not moaning, I'm just saying it's a bit of pressure because you want to keep your credibility on signals. And so people do the wrong signal, get out too quick or whatever. That's quite frankly traders' issue, not mine. But I'm trying to keep some sort of credibility in my signals where they're okay. They're never going to 100%. So okay. So that's why I check them because they've been sent out. And it seems to be so far so good. And usually they complain about the signal, and you look into what they've done. They usually they screwed it up themselves, in fact, overwhelmingly. And that's the major problem that we have in trading worldwide. It's people trading without taking the time to learn what it's all about. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, right. So what's the time now? Just coming to closing time. Anything else you want to look at, guys? Remember, shares don't open until tomorrow. Nothing. I can't change the stop. What's wrong? We can't. If the market's closed, you can't. Remember that in mind. Also, bear in mind, position size calculator works for everything but shares. You need the CFD calculator for that. Get your LMS on your resources, so I'm told. Actually, I haven't posted what I normally post. Two seconds. What's this? The dollar index, just in case some people haven't got it. It won't take too long. And the economic calendar takes 2 seconds. You got it. Never mind if you haven't got it. The major problem with this business is, you know, you're going to see a guy involved with cars or houses or food. They know a bit about it. Guys who get involved with this and don't think about the product. So you've got to know a little bit about the machinations and mechanics of the product. Okay, Ken. Okay, anything else, guys, before we close up? You've got the calculator, you all saved it. Remember, save your templates. Don't forget to save it. You got the DXY and the economic calendar. You know how to go and look for specifications. You know the math behind it. So you know what it means by contract values. You now know that you can get if you want to do the NASDAQ and you can't afford it on the normal one, you get the micro. Only on the micro, on the Dow and the NASDAQ, which means now just about everyone can afford to do it. But just remember, it'll reduce your return, you reduce your risk, but reduce your returns. Fortunately, it goes in tandem together. Any questions and all that? You all know what leverage is now. You all know what margin means deposit. You know what free margin is. You know you keep free margin. You don't want to get margin call. This is the stuff you should need to know before you do a trade. Thank you, Fiona. And if you're not sure, just ask. If it takes too long to explain, go to the classes. I'll tell you, you need to go to the classes, do a CFD class or a Forex class or a platform training. You need to be on top of that. If I can explain it quickly without holding everybody up and it's quiet with trades, I'll do that with pleasure. But whatever way you get it, you've got to have that knowledge. You can't be a doctor if you don't know what a headache tablet is. There's a bit more to it. Okay, Pete. It's nice to see you guys are in the blue. Fiona's in the blue, Pete's in the blue. That's good to hear. Okay, Marius in the blue. Hope Eugene's in the blue. You should be in the blue. Good stuff. Hi, Sean. Hope you got that stuff there. If you're new to it, remember, pick stuff up as you go along. Don't try and come in completely no knowledge, no course, no nothing, completely cold turkey here. You will get confused. It's like doing an advanced driver's test and you don't know what brake or what gearing lever is. Okay, guys, I seem to cover that. Stick with us. It takes a bit of time, but you can get the hang of it. And hoping after a while you'll be able to go to either this one here, for argument's sake, and be able to tell immediately it's in the neutral zone, right up at the resistance or support. And the pound's a bit weak, might look to sell it if I can get a confirmation like that. You should be able to get there soon, won't take too long. Well, one deal, it isn't, because it gives you freedom. The beauty is, you want to have a Kentucky Fried Chicken. What do I mean by that? Number one, you got to find the right place. You're going to get the right price. You're going to have a large amount of money. Then you got to have all the staff, all the problems you get with staff. You know what I mean? You go on strike, they don't go on strike, they pay right, or they don't pitch up, or whatever. You got to be there on top of it all the sodding time. You don't like wherever you are, you want to move. You've got to find a seller, might be the right price. You've got to wait. Then you got to find another place, etc. You know what I mean? You can't run it when you're an old man because you're not on it. It's hassle. Yeah, you can be bedridden, still do it. All it costs is basically a laptop, correctly, a mod if you can afford it, a bit of capital, some knowledge, and an internet connection. You want to go down and live in Durban, you're in Joburg, what do? You pack your car, off you go. It's a laptop, maybe a monitor. And then you take maybe a dongle with you if you haven't got Wi-Fi where you're going. When you move in, you get some decent quality Wi-Fi, and away you go. You can do this, you're 100 years of age, as long as you're not blind, deaf, and dumb. You know what I mean? The world's going bad economically. You can't afford a pay rise to your guys at KFC, never mind. Or we got COVID, it's closed down, and things are coming off. You sell short. There is so many pluses. The trouble is, unfortunately, the downside is you got to get the knowledge, get the right equipment, and of course have some capital. But yeah, absolutely, Wandile. There's so many pluses for this, overcoming the negatives. The trouble is, for a lot of people, to be fair, it's outside their comfort zone. Talk about food or boyfriend, girlfriend, or a house or a car. We're familiar with it. It's in our mental comfort zone. This is a bit out, so you've got to sort of open your mind a bit, and then it'll start to say it's similar but different, and then you'll get the idea. And believe me, it's not getting a degree. Far easier than that. Okay, on that note, I'll catch you this afternoon. Thanks very much, guys. Cheers.